Nathan, can I get you to admit on camera that you like Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, as the best Halloween movie of the Cult of Thorn Trilogy?
Absolutely not. No, I'm sorry.
Oh my god. I'm crying like Michael Myers in Halloween 5. One single tear. Hey everyone, welcome to Straight Jacket Talk. My name is Kevin. I'm joined tonight by my co-host who likes to wear crotchless panties and bark like a dog. Nathan,
Woof.
What's going on?
Nothing much. How you doing? You got me to watch these movies, so doing all right, I guess.
Dang, you sound a little sad from watching The Cult of Thorn.
It was a lot of movies to watch. A lot of, let's go on.
Well, listen, the director of Halloween 4, Dwight Little, was recently in the news, and he had said some things on an interview where I guess he had said that he pitched a part 2 of Halloween 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are a lot of Halloween 4 fans out there, but this got me thinking, Halloween 4 Part 2, the Cult of Thorn Trilogy, that is Halloween 4, Halloween 5, and Halloween 6.
Yes.
It's been a while since these movies have really been talked about, especially since David Gordon Green's new trilogy came out. I was thinking it's a good opportunity for us to take a little retrospective into these movies. But before we do that, if you guys could please hit the like and the subscribe and also the notification bell so when we release more videos, you're the first to know. Isn't that right, Nathan?
Mm-hmm. It's a privilege.
That's right. Woo! That's right. So, for this episode, we watched Halloween 4, Halloween 5, and Halloween 6.
Mm-hmm. we sure did.
A lot of movies.
Yep.
Nathan, my question to you is, which of the three did you like the best?
Oh, 4 by 2,500 miles. Halloween 4 is actually decent. Halloween 5 and 6 are not good at all. Like, not even a little bit. So yeah, I would have to go with Halloween 4. It's a decent little slasher. I had fun with it. I don't think it's amazing by any means. It's not coming close to Halloween 1978. But it's a decent little slasher,
Do you remember the last time you had watched all three of these movies?
Yeah. I don't remember specifically but I remember it was at your house when we were like 16 or 17 years old. And I remember that long ago. Yeah. Cause I remember thinking to myself, I'm glad Kevin likes these movies. I'm never watching them again. And yet here I am on your account at your request.
Listen, I'm wearing my Halloween 6 Curse of Michael Myers shirt.
I can't believe they even made a Halloween 6 shirt.
Yeah, this is
a modern
not
one.
that we're sponsored, but this is by Gutter Garbs, I believe.
Gutter Garbs?
So, yeah, they sell, horror merchandise, basically.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, and again, we're not sponsored by them, but...
It's a cool thing, though.
Yeah, it's cool. You can get, pretty much any franchise of horror that you like. If you don't like Halloween 6, they have, whatever you like.
Right. Right. That's cool.
But, so you brought up a point. These movies, for me, have always been kind of like my feel-good movies, because I know I've said this on another episode. Halloween 6 was the first horror movie I ever saw.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that did bring me to Halloween 1978, which is my favorite horror movie, and actually probably my favorite movie. I love it that much.
It's a worthy movie to be your favorite. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, so I mean, it brought me to those, but it also brought me to the predecessors, as in 4 and 5,
Right.
before this.
Right.
And these movies always kind of just felt like my comfort movies for some reason,
I understand that for 4, but 5 and 6 are a little upsetting at times, so I don't quite get that, but go ahead.
Well, no, like I was saying, so David Gordon Green's new trilogy that came out with Halloween 2018,
Mm-hmm.
Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends,
Mm-hmm.
they really made me kind of question a little bit, like, okay, why were those 3 really comfort movies for me?
Right.
Because now it's been, 30 years later since these new movies have been made, new technology, new stories available.
Mm-hmm.
Did they do more and better stuff with the newer movies than the 4, 5, and 6? And that's what I was kind of asking myself in my head for this retrospective. So that's why I really wanted to go back and watch these movies specifically.
Right.
And I got to tell you, for the most part, they still are like my comfort movies.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that. They're from your childhood. I do have to say, watching Halloween 4 was pretty nostalgic for me, just because we used to quote this movie constantly when we were like 16, 17 years old. 15 years old even.
You know what? I have to say, so my favorite out of these, I do love The Curse of Michael Myers, and I think that is, like, overall, it just has that nostalgia for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of agree with you in that Halloween 4 is the best movie of the 3.
Right. But the best and your favorite doesn't have to be the same.
You're right.
So
you're right. And you know what? I got to ask you this, because I've seen this on social media, and a lot of people really love the 4th one.
Mm-hmm.
And their biggest gripe is always the mask with Halloween 4,
Yeah. Yeah.
And some people have said that it would almost be their number 2 favorite to Halloween 78 if the mask was better. Like if it was the original mask, or, a better version of the mask. What are your thoughts on that?
I am not that bothered by the mask, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it looks good, because I really don't think it does. But to me, that feels like a minor complaint a little bit.
Right.
You give me a better story and you could make it a clown mask if you want. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
The thing is I'm not a huge Halloween fan. So little stuff like that is less likely to bother me than it is somebody who's a huge fan of the series and has attachments to things like that original mask.
That makes sense. I gotta be honest, for me, like now, it doesn't really bother me as much as it used to bother me.
And that makes sense, because like, what mask you're getting when you turn on the movie at this point.
Right.
Like, so,
And actually, I think there's some scenes that it really looks good in, especially those nightmare scenes where he sits up next to Jamie's bed, and he's in the mirror. I think some of those...
You mean when the lighting is real low and you can barely see it?
Yes. But, wait a minute. But to your point, I think that's where Michael Myers' mask and look and the shape looks the best no matter what anyways.
Oh, I agree. I mean, he was often not lit very well in the first movie. When it's
Yes.
not like they had bad lighting, they were lighting other stuff just fine, but they were intentionally leaving him in the dark, and that's probably what's best for the character because of how he operates, how he kills. He's
Right.
supposed to be
He's
in
the
shadows.
shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not like a person with a mask and stuff. Like, he's not supposed to be
No.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
And then
so
Halloween
I mean,
5 fucked all that part up. And it continued in 6. But
listen though, before we get to 5, right? I want to touch some on 4 because you brought up, how we used to really quote Halloween 4 a lot.
All the time.
Loomis in this movie is amazing.
Oh, he's great. He's great. Yeah. Michael, why now? It's been 10 years. Leave those poor people in Haddonfield alone.
God damn you. I love how when he goes to the gas station and he gets out of the car and he's like, hello there, hello, like waving his cane.
Right. Nobody
Like,
comes to
dude.
help.
There's nobody there.
Nobody there. They're all dead.
He's just yelling randomly.
Yeah.
That's Loomis, though.
A
We do
filling
get the
station in flames.
Yes! Yes, I love that quote. We do get the scenes, though, of Michael in the bandages. And
It makes
I gotta
sense.
ask you, did you like that look? Because there's also people that say they would have almost preferred him staying in that bandage face versus the mask.
I think it made sense for the scene, but I don't think I would have. I don't think I would
Like,
have liked
continued
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I honestly think the people who say that are probably, if it actually happened, would have been upset.
Yeah.
Honestly.
You're right.
There's no way for me to know that. There's no way for them to know that, because the movie it was made this way. But
Right.
But I mean, Michael Myers is sort of that mask, Like I said in our first episode, Michael Myers is barely a character. He's a mask in the rantings of Dr. Loomis. So,
Yes. And this movie, amps up the Loomis factor, I think, times 100.
Yes.
Which it should, he is a very important part of this movie and the franchise.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
know?
The scene where he's looking through the pictures.
Yeah, in the closet.
In the closet.
Yep.
Made me think that maybe Bear Claw is onto something about Halloween, too. Because that was bad.
So if you haven't heard our Mouths of Madness episodes, we did do our first episode was our Halloween ranking. And in that, each of the Mouths of Madness members do their own individual rankings. And Bear Claw had some pretty hot takes on Halloween 2.
Yeah.
And they've continued throughout the episodes because he
finds a way to put it in there every episode.
He is pretty adamant that Halloween 2 killed the canon of the movie, right? Of Halloween, of the story.
Of the series.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that making Laurie Michael's sister was a bad idea, but I still think the movie's one of the better Halloween movies, even though it did cause a huge amount of problems for sequels.
Here's my hot take on this, because this is always talked about through, different people and Halloween fans too. If obviously, I think a lot of people, myself included, agree like the first movie had the perfect ending. That should have been it,
Yeah, that's where I'm mostly at with it. I mean, even if we got a few good movies out of the rest of the franchise, the franchise would have been better off not being a franchise at all, if you ask me. But
right, and I agree to that point. But here's my thing: once number 2 is going, and then all of a sudden we're back for 3, 4, the franchise. There has to be more story developed I love the story of.
Well, that's the problem, though, isn't it?
That is the problem. It's the problem, but it's also the antithesis of continuing a franchise. You have to develop the story more. You can't just keep going to the well over and over again. Or can you?
No, you can't. And you shouldn't be like, the original Halloween to me is like a perfect movie.
Yeah.
And
I
the
agree.
moment you start fucking with that formula, you have a much less perfect movie. And but you can't just go to that formula over and over again, which is why I'm of the opinion that as much as I love Halloween Ends, yeah, I said it.
Hot take alert.
Yeah. I would have been better off just being one movie. And John Carpenter agrees, honestly.
Yeah.
John Carpenter didn't want to do Halloween 2 and got drunk off his ass to write the script. So,
yes.
No,
I mean, I hear you. I just think, there was some swings taken in the story, and the swings really start in Halloween 4, maybe.
At the end of Halloween 4.
Yes. Yep.
But the thing the thing I like about Halloween 4 is until you get to that ending where they set it up, it's just a slasher movie and a decent one. Like, nothing amazing, but a decent slasher movie.
Well, so I think that's some of the problems people have too with Halloween 4 is like they think it's too safe, that it doesn't do much.
It might as well be a remake of Halloween 1 at points. I don't disagree.
Here's the thing, though, right? They had just done Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I have not seen.
Whoa, you haven't seen it?
Mm-mm.
What?
I don't know. You never.
Me as a huge Halloween fan never forced you to see it.
No, you didn't like it. It was the no Michael Myers one.
I know.
So,
I didn't.
like, all of my
Now
Halloween watching is basically, other than I've rewatched the first one a few times. All of my Halloween watching was in your basement when we were in high school, pretty much. Other than the few times, and obviously the newer ones, the David Gordon Green ones, didn't exist back then. But
right,
Okay,
well, we're gonna have to have an episode where we review that down the line.
All right, I'm looking forward to it because unlike a lot of Halloween fans, I'm not gonna give a damn that Michael Myers isn't in it.
And you liked Halloween Ends a lot, which took a different path.
Yeah.
So you also might appreciate Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which takes a different path.
Right.
But commercially, it was not a success.
Halloween Ends, you mean?
So, Halloween Season 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
so it was not a success. So they had to bring Michael Myers back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I understand the people that say, "Oh, well, it's a safe movie," and I get that.
Had to make
but
a
it
safe
almost
movie at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
you had to, because you had to appease the fandom.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, too, I believe Halloween 4 had made the most money
out of all the Halloweens
for
I
them,
think, right?
Yeah.
More than the first one, even
for a while too.
Yeah,
maybe until H2O or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So they did the right thing. They made it a safe movie with the ending being the twist, where Jamie stabs her.
I like the twist. I like that ending a lot.
Foster mom. Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, I really.
I love Loomis going berserk.
No! He sounds Shakespearean in this damn movie, doesn't he? Like he's on a stage play. He's projecting out to an entire amphitheater. All of his acting.
I think he was having fun, dude.
Oh, for sure he was having a blast.
I know he was drunk on gin, but he was having fun.
Was he actually drunk for the filming of the movie? Is that?
So I'm not sure if it was 4 or 5, but Danielle Harris, who plays Jamie Lloyd, had said that he was drinking pretty heavily between takes.
I think that would make sense more for 5, but
maybe
because 4, he's not unhinged in 4. He is
not yet.
Yeah,
not yet.
He's very enthusiastic and he's acting his heart out, but he's not completely unhinged in 4. Although he does drink on screen in 4, doesn't he? 4 is
yes, he does, with Reverend Sayer there.
The most pointless.
You're hunting him, ain't you? Oh, I could see it in your eyes. You're hunting him. Besides
what does that have to
moment,
do with anything? I loved it. I wouldn't take it out for the world. But what did it have to do with anything?
Nothing. It's kind of like this almost fourth wall break,
right?
Of hunting evil, and damnation, and it's all coming for us. Right. But in this movie, it's Michael Myers.
Right.
That's the evil. Mm-hmm. But besides that scene, what were some of your favorite moments? Did you have any out of Halloween 4? Just Halloween 4.
Out of just Halloween 4.
Yeah.
I thought the gun kill was really good. Where he's got a gun, and like I said, it's been a long time since I've seen this movie, and I was like,
yes,
is he gonna shoot her? And then he stabbed her with the shotgun.
Yes.
And I just started laughing my ass off because that was because literally like 2 seconds after I thought, is he gonna shoot her? That's not very Michael Myers. He's stabbing her with a gun, and I thought that was great. Although her character is ridiculous, by the way. But anyway,
ridiculous in a good way or a bad way?
I'll call it both.
Yeah.
Because it makes no sense that she's not wearing pants the entire time.
Hey, listen, I'm not going to argue it, man.
I'm not upset about it. But in my brain, I'm going, when company comes over, I put on pants. Dr.
Nathan,
Loomis is this random old man who's now in your house, and you're not wearing pants.
She's wise to what boys like.
Does she want Loomis to like her? I don't.
Oh, no.
I hope not.
No. This is heading down a different direction.
It wouldn't have headed down that direction if the woman would just put on some goddamn pants.
I think I speak for all of us in that scene where she took her top off. Mm-hmm. She's making out with Brady in front of the fireplace. Mm-hmm. And we got no nudity.
Nothing. Yeah. Actually, 4 and 5 actually have very similar issues with this.
Yes.
Where I'm not educated enough on the MPAA's war against horror to know exactly when it started and ended, but 4 and 5 must have been right in the middle of it because they are tame. They are extremely tame. So
it's weird too because there were so many Jason movies that there was a lot of nudity and like really big gore effects. But I wonder like if campiness has anything to do with like the MPAA and their rating on that.
I don't know. I do know that even some of the Jason movies fell victim to this problem.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
I
enough.
Remember
I'm
that.
not a huge, like I said, I'm not a huge slasher fan, so I haven't seen a lot of them. But I do know that there's like interviews with the director of I think 3, or it's either 3 or 4, where he's talking about I had to cut out everything. So even Jason, even some of the 80s Jason movies fell victim to it.
I don't know. I don't think that takes away necessarily from these movies, but like at the same point, like
I think it takes away from 5.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah.
4 is fine. Maybe it could have used a little more gore.
Yeah.
But 5 needed something going for it.
Yeah. It needed that little extra oomph. Mm-hmm. We'll get to 5 in a second.
I know. I'm sorry.
Because I do want to talk about... Yeah, no, I do want to talk about 5 because I have a hot take for 5.
Okay.
But for 4, I agree with you on that, like, shotgun, to Kelly Meeker.
That was great.
But I love all of those scenes where they're in the Meeker house. I thought that was really, like, the scariest part of that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're really trapped inside with Michael Myers.
Are you laughing because of this thing I think you're laughing because of?
What am I laughing because of?
He shoots the door lock. and he says,
It's metal! God damn it, it's metal!
What does that mean?
"It's metal!
It's metal.
God damn it, it's
God
metal!"
Damn it, it's metal.
And she goes, "What does that mean?"
What does that mean?
I had to pause the movie. I was laughing because that was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard in my entire... Yes, door locks are normally made of metal. And when somebody tells you something is metal, it usually means that it's made of metal.
Oh my god.
But he says it means we're trapped. And I'm sitting there like, why? Why does it mean you're trapped? He's touching it like it's hot or something. And it's like, even if it is hot, just burn yourself. You're about to die.
Right.
Like,
I know. I was thinking, like, at that point, too, I would just throw shit out a window. I know they boarded up the windows and stuff, but like you said, you're going to die. Like, shit's getting fucked up.
and there's
Do what you got to do to get out the house.
there's no way after shooting that lock, you can't get that door open. Like, he's touched, like,
Take an axe.
and then
to
they
it.
run up the damn stairs.
Yes, this is a trope.
Oh, man.
We get the cool roof scenes.
You gotta have an excuse to get him on the roof, I guess. Yeah,
Exactly. I had heard that in the original script, there was some idea that something was going to happen and the house was going to set on fire to get them up to the roof.
That would've cost
and
a
like
lot of
there's
money,
going to be
though,
these
right?
great scenes of them on the roof with the house on fire, but they didn't have it in the budget.
Yeah, it would have been very expensive.
Yeah,
Especially back then, you couldn't even CGI it really.
you're
So-
right.
Would have been
You're
a lot
right.
of stunt doubling and hazard pay. And that's expensive.
Who is your favorite character in Halloween 4? Do you have a favorite character?
No.
None of them?
Loomis.
Loomis, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie's all right. Rachel's all right, I guess. I don't know. They're
See,
not...
I liked Rachel a lot. I thought she was actually like a different kind of final girl. Where she was more...
She stood up for
really-
herself a little bit more than your
Yeah.
average final girl.
Right. And I like the dynamic of her protecting Jamie. Yeah. So I thought that all worked
Yeah.
really well. Now,
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike Rachel. I'm not like, oh, she's the most boring character ever. I just, I'm just not like in love with her as a character. I don't think.
no, I hear you. Well, this leads into Halloween 5,
Yes, it does.
The Revenge of Michael Myers.
Right.
Because what do they do at the beginning of 5? They kill Rachel.
This movie. Now, Mustafa Akkad, is that? He's not the director of 4?
So Mustafa Akkad is the producer. He's the one that owned all the rights to Halloween. He had bought the rights from John Carpenter and Deborah Hill.
Okay. So he's
it's-
not involved in
it
the
was
creative
his.
process at all, really.
Well, he is.
Is he a
yes,
writer?
because he's not a writer, but he is involved because he's the one that decides like where the story's going to go, what's going to happen. And the famous thing behind Halloween 5 is he had I guess there were different scripts or whatever. And Deborah Hill had recommended the director of Halloween 5.
Okay.
I forget what his name is, Gerard something. And he came in for the meeting with Mustafa, and Mustafa had the script for Halloween 5 that he liked. And this director said, hey, if you want this movie to be something great or whatever, you know, he probably threw bullshit at him. He grabbed the script and he threw it in the trash. And he said, let me do my vision with it. And Mustafa, because he loved Deborah Hill and he trusted her, he was like, okay, you know, wherever you want to go. But he's like, we got to get this made within a year. They wanted this thing out like right away, which was a mistake, obviously.
Well, everything about this movie is a mistake.
Here's my hot take. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Halloween 5 used to be like my least favorite one for many reasons. You know, Michael crying was a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing Michael vulnerable, like floating down the river.
Mm-hmm.
That was not a good scene to see. You know, I don't want to see Michael Myers vulnerable at all.
Right.
You know, there are other things of killing Rachel, of the Myers house being different. I mean, there's so many different things where I was like, what? Jamie being mute? I'm like, what is this movie doing?
Right.
And when we did the Mouths of Madness ranking, and we were talking and discussing, and even when I rewatched it, you know, Bear Claw kind of had some good points.
I disagree.
About them.
I disagree, but go ahead.
Them taking big swings in this movie and trying something different. Now, I don't agree with all the swings they took, and they're not things I would have done, but I understand it and maybe appreciate it more.
Okay. I can appreciate that they took risks.
Yes.
All the risks they took were a bad idea.
Yes. I kind of agree with that, yeah.
It's like, okay, have you seen that Red Letter Media video called Subverting Expectations?
Yes, yep.
That's what this is. Like, if you're going to subvert my expectations, you need to do something that's better than my expectations. And everything about this is so much worse.
Worse, yeah.
I mean, start with what? It's not the same writer for every movie, right?
No.
Why?
I believe he wrote this too.
The director wrote it.
Yeah, I believe.
Why do all the writers hate the characters from the previous movies?
Yeah, you're right.
Why is that?
I always feel like they have to have their stamp in this franchise. You know, come in,
Listen,
their fresh coat of paint, you know?
I was not in love with Rachel as a character. But you kill Rachel and give me Tina, who I like even less. If you're going to kill our Rachel, you have to give us something better than Tina.
I hear you.
You know, so and 6 does something very similar near the beginning of the movie, and it's like you get to a point where it's like, what was the point of watching the movie before if you're just going to do this at the beginning of the next movie? None of these. What's the point of rooting for anybody if you're just going to kill them off? You know
what? That brings me to a point too that I want to say. I think what I like about Halloween as a franchise, not just Halloween 78, but as a franchise, is, and it's kind of contradicting what you're saying a little bit, but they do give us characters to care about, you know, at least try. Whereas a lot of other franchises, they just give us fodder, like just kids to be killed. And you're almost rooting for the killer in those.
I mean, in Friday the 13th, you're rooting for Jason almost 100% of the time.
Right.
Especially if Corey Feldman's in the movie.
But to your point, why Halloween's different is they do give us those characters to care about.
Right.
So my thing is, jumping on your point, is keep these characters or make their story go into different movies.
Right.
And if you're going to end their story, do the ending right, you know, or have it a plan for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it felt to me, killing Rachel, like, it wasn't upsetting to me because I cared about Rachel so much, but I understand why people would care about Rachel. It's just my feeling about Halloween 4 is perhaps more negative than your average Halloween 4 fan.
Yeah.
But I get why people would be upset about that decision, because it didn't feel like they did it. It felt lazy. It felt like, oh, I want my character for this movie, and this other character's in the way, so stab. Make sure we get her naked before we stab her. Like, it all felt exploitative and weird, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But then the rest of the movie was worse than that. So
Is this your least favorite of the three?
yeah,
Or is the curse?
Yeah, this is my least favorite of the three.
Okay.
My biggest problem with this is that Loomis, they just keep introducing concepts through Loomis talking about them that you see nothing of in the actual movie. Like, you know, that part where Loomis is shaking Jamie's legs and it's like, why are you protecting him? And she got this look on her face like, I'm going to edit her face over my face. I've just decided. At what point do we ever actually get is it ever actually demonstrated that she's protecting him, that she knows where he is at all times? It seems to me that anytime she actually knows where he is, she's trying to find a way to tell them. And Loomis is just saying, no, you're protecting him. You know where he is. Why are you protecting him? And then after...
Maybe it was just a gin line, you know?
I guess.
He was drunk.
I guess. And then Tina dies, and he's like, will you help me now?
Now, are you willing to help me?
And she's like,
Yeah.
well, okay, what do you want me to do? And I'm sitting there like, one, she's 9 years old and she just saw one of her favorite people in the entire world die. So maybe give her a second, Loomis.
Right.
Two,
Right.
you never asked her to do anything in the first place that she could say no to. So what is this? Why are you being... Why are you being a dick about this? Like, as if, you know, this is some sort of revelation you need to deal with. Like, that's not the right word, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
No, I agree. They should have laid some sort of like cohesive plan out. Like, this is what Loomis is looking for.
right.
Like,
and this is what she's not doing.
Yes.
If you're going to have him criticize her for stuff, you have to have her actually do something worth criticizing, which at no point does she do anything worth criticizing.
Just a little girl. Even Tina, I think, says it. Like, she's just a little girl.
She's just a little...
Stop filling her head
badgering
with
her.
this boogeyman.
You're badgering her, you dick.
You know what I do like though is, and what we talked about in Halloween 4 is Loomis now is amping up kind of his level of, I guess, insanity a little bit.
He's completely unhinged in this movie.
Yes. It's gotten to that point, you know?
Yeah. It's
but I like it because it makes sense in theory. You know, he's like, fuck it, I'm out of ideas. You know?
I'll be honest, Loomis is my biggest problem with this movie.
Wow. Wow.
Another problem I have with Loomis in this movie is that he does a 180 at the end of the movie as to whether or not Michael Myers is just evil. And that's right. The first clue we get that they're going to try to humanize Michael Myers is that Loomis all of a sudden starts saying, you feel that rage inside you.
Yeah.
If you want the rage to stop, she can stop it. Come to the house. And I'm sitting there like,
right.
Are we serious here? Blackest eyes, the devil's eyes, no sense of good or evil, right or wrong. Don't you want the rage to stop? That's a complete 180 on your opinion of this killer. There's no consistency with Loomis in this movie.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree with what you're saying. I just think that he is amped up to a point where, like, he's at a point where, like, he's not thinking, like, he's just trying to lure Michael and do whatever he can to stop him or, like, what he thinks will stop him. You know?
He's trying to... Hold on. There's a point... He's trying to appeal to Michael Myers' better nature to trick him into coming into the house. Michael Myers does not have a better nature. Okay. At one point, he stands next to Michael Myers and says,
remember that, yeah.
she can help you stop the rage. He doesn't
Right.
want to stop the rage. He's Michael Myers. Except in this movie, he does kind of want to stop the rage. And that's one of the biggest problems this movie has.
Well, I think the biggest problem this movie has is trying to humanize Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he's not a human.
No, exactly.
You know, you've built up the other movies over the idea he's not a human.
That he
you
just
know,
went
over the
He's a great white shark. He walks and he kills, whereas a great white
Right.
shark swims and eats.
And-
you know,
in baggy ass overalls,
Right.
According to Busta Rhymes.
haven't
What
seen
is
that
your
movie
fa-
since that came out in the theaters. So
I wouldn't recommend that one.
no.
What is your favorite moment in Halloween 5? Do you have a favorite moment?
The best part of this movie is the slasher stuff with Michael actually killing people, and it's still entirely uninteresting. So
Yeah. You don't like the barn scenes where he has the pitchfork
No.
and the scythe and
No.
stuff?
In the first episode of The Mouths of Madness, Logan said it was boring, and I remember, and I agree.
Yeah.
I thought the barn was boring. My favorite kill in this movie was Mike, the
Yes.
greaser, dying
The
by
dickhead.
just getting. I didn't
Yeah.
think the kill was all that great, but I didn't like Mike, so I was happy to see him. I was
I
like,
like
I
how-
know he's not going to be on the screen anymore once this is over, so that's good. That's my favorite moment.
I like how Michael Myers, though, first was an asshole and scratched his car.
Actually, that
Yeah.
was pretty good. I forgot about that. Yeah, that was good. I liked that.
I'll tell you what, my favorite moments in this movie have always been my favorite moments, and what I think is actually scary, and something that I didn't think would ever be scary, because, like, again, like we talked about, the best way to shoot Michael Myers is in the shadows and everything. But in this movie, I do love the scenes where it's during the day and Rachel comes out of the shower and he's in the house, but he's in the background. And you
Right.
can see him,
Right.
you know, just barely out of focus. I love those scenes. They're scary to me. Like, you know,
Right. Yeah.
it's, you know, alarming that this, you know,
Halloween
big
did-
guy is in your house behind you and you're just
I hear
like,
you.
oh, you know.
But Halloween 78 did the same type of stuff and better, if you ask me. But
No, I agree. I just
know.
think that that's why I like those scenes in this is like,
Yeah.
you know, I think they're like scary, you know, for what it was trying to do and raise that suspense level. You know,
Yeah.
unfortunately, he then just takes scissors to her and ends her, but I thought the lead up was good at
Right.
least. Yeah.
But-
I was trying to think too. I do like the cookie woman scene. Cookie woman.
Cookie woman.
Cookie woman. Cookie woman.
Dale's gas station.
why is Billy even in that institution? Is
don't
this
know.
a universe
Logan
where you
wants to
stick
know,
kids
too.
in institutions because they stutter? Like, is stuttering just a stand-in for actual mental illness? Like, I understand
I
why
think it would've
Jamie's in
been-
there, but why is Billy
I
in
think
there?
it would have been a cool story if like he had some sort of schizophrenia and he also like stabbed his like parents or
yeah.
something like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that would be great, actually. But instead, he's
Star-crossed
just...
killers.
But, yeah, Cookie Woman... Fucking Cookie Woman. Why does Billy have to interpret for Jamie when you can clearly hear what she's saying? Why is he repeating what she is saying verbatim? You can completely understand.
He's butting in. He wants a little bit of that Loomis action, you know?
But Loomis is acting like he needs to interpret for her. Loomis is like, yes, I'm listening to you, Billy.
Over
I can't understand
over
Jamie saying the exact same thing you're saying, repeating. Cookie woman.
I do like those scenes too where Michael puts on that different mask and he's in the car. Little bit of suspense building, You know, a little bit of
Hold on,
suspense
I don't like
building.
this either.
No, you don't like it either?
Why does he stop to let her get out of the car?
Yeah, that's valid.
Like, I
'Cause
want
it's the cookie woman.
cigarettes.
He's like, holy
And he's
shit,
like,
this lady's annoying.
Oh, I'll let you get cigarettes because I'm not ready to kill you yet, and I need a break.
I want a pack of cigarettes.
He's like, holy shit, get her out of my car.
You're being weird. Oh my God, I was gonna take her to the dance and then kill her, but now I just need a break. Ah, shit,
That's
they
it.
got her out of here. Oh well, I'm moving on. I'll kill her later in the most uninteresting way possible.
I'll run her over.
I'm sorry, I need to stop being so negative. I really don't like this movie though.
I am happy though that this is your least favorite and The Curse is not your least favorite.
The Curse isn't that far behind, but go on.
I'll take it. A win's a win. Who is your favorite character in this movie? Do you have one? Is it Cookie Woman?
Fucking Billy. Just
Billy!
I love Billy. He doesn't make any sense.
God.
I don't understand why he exists. So it's just, it represents the movie great.
Man, fucking Billy.
Man, I don't know, man. It's probably Loomis again, to be honest with you.
You just said Loomis is one of the biggest issues with this movie.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck. Christ. Dude, I don't think this movie has redeeming qualities. I just don't. I hate it every second. This movie
God.
can't even keep track of who's dead from the last movie. At the very beginning of the movie, Jamie's having her little fit or whatever, and the nurse comes in and says, "Oh my gosh, do I need to call your mom? Thanks, my mom's dead, bitch." Like,
No, they like scrapped that idea that her mom was dead.
her mom is Laurie Strode.
Oh wait, she met her foster mom.
Her foster mom's dead.
No,
Yes.
no, they
No.
scrapped that
They
idea.
didn't scrap it entirely. Loomis talks
Yes,
about it. Loomis is like, "Why are you protecting him? He made you stab your Does he say stab
yeah,
or kill? Is she
He
not
said
dead?
stab. Yeah, she's not dead.
Okay.
Rachel also
that changes
says
the
that
whole
mom.
thing for me.
Yeah, Rachel also says that mom and dad send their best, and Rachel was gonna go spend whatever that weekend with her parents,
Right.
wherever they were.
Right. Okay. So I missed that.
They changed that ending, but I believe in Halloween 4 she was supposed to be dead at the end.
Right.
But then they scrapped that and made it just she stabbed her foster mom.
Okay. So I got confused because I remember.
You're right though. Laurie Strode is dead.
Yeah. So her mom is dead.
In this canon. Yeah.
But her foster mom isn't actually dead. I was under the impression that her foster mom was dead and that all the references to her being alive were mistakes. So that's a criticism of mine that we can just throw out the window. Doesn't change anything else about what I said though.
I'll tell you what, my favorite character in this is probably Jamie, to be honest with you, because like she had to deal with like all this crap and being as a pretty much a hostage in the Michael Myers house in Loomis's trap.
Oh my god.
That he set up. You know?
Yeah.
I love when Loomis is like, "Charlie, Michael Myers is outside. Stay with the little girl, please."
That was actually a pretty good line. I can't deny that. And then the hanging kill wasn't bad, I suppose.
No. Yeah.
The way
And
he killed
again,
that
I
cop
think
wasn't bad.
when you get in those tight environments again, it gets scary again. You know?
But it's just the same as Halloween 4.
I know.
We just did that again. We've already been.
I feel like this director too, I feel like just was all over the place with where
Throwing
and he was
ideas
just
at
making up shit as he went.
Yeah, just throwing ideas like spaghetti at a wall, seeing what sticks, and then none of what sticks is coherent at all in any way, shape, or form.
Well, speaking of not coherent, let's get on to the final movie of the trilogy, The Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween 6.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite moment of this movie?
Okay, I've got a favorite moment and a favorite kill. They're different things.
Oh, okay.
But they happen in succession. So my favorite moment is when, what's his name? The asshole who slaps the woman at the beginning.
John
Strode. He goes down to the basement to find the washing machine going. And he opens the washing machine and it's filled with sheets that are soaked in blood.
Yeah.
And that's when you realize the only way for that to have happened is if Michael Myers decided to do laundry.
I can picture him.
Dude, he chops up that woman with the axe. And then he looks around and he goes, "Oh no, I got blood all over their sheets. That is a step too far. I shouldn't have done that. I need to wash these sheets.
I've been a bad
serial killer. These sheets did not deserve to get blood on them."
Oh my goodness.
And Michael Myers did laundry.
They should change it from The Curse of Michael Myers.
I believe
to
I
Michael
texted
Myers
that to you. Halloween 6, Michael does laundry.
I didn't think about that when you had said it. I was thinking about where he took the axe to, what was her name? John's wife.
The other
mom.
character who doesn't matter's mom. More new characters when you had old characters that you could have utilized that people had attachments to.
You're right.
But
again, I was going to say in this movie, I like some of the new characters they introduced.
I'm sorry to hear that. No.
I like Kara.
She's all right. She's all right. I mean, I feel the same way about Kara as I do like Rachel.
Oh, okay. No attachment there.
Not really. I'll get to another thing I didn't like before, but I told you I had a moment and a favorite kill. And my favorite kill was when Michael Myers stabs John Strode. This happens right after the laundry scene into the electrical box and electrocutes him until his head explodes. I loved it. That was okay. Not my favorite movie out of the three by any means. Yes.
Yeah.
But that was my favorite moment out of all three movies was when that guy, when they went full scanners with it, with his head exploding, which makes no sense because electrocuting you is not going to make your head explode ever.
No. And that was a reshoot that they went back because, one of the things all Halloween fans know is there are two versions of this movie.
Right.
There's the producer's cut and the theatrical cut.
I saw the theatrical cut, or I believe that's what's on Amazon Prime right now anyway.
So if you saw his head explode, that was the theatrical cut.
Okay.
But they do have different endings. Did you see Michael standing in a circle of rocks at the end?
No.
Okay, so you saw the theatrical cut.
Yeah, we were talking about what these movies do to characters.
Mm-hmm.
I was not happy about how they treated Jamie at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah.
That was awful. What are you doing? Like, she was 9 years old in Halloween.
Another main character.
She was 9 years old in Halloween 5, and she's having a baby 6 years later in Halloween 6, and it's Michael Myers' baby. So I am led to believe that she has been imprisoned and forcibly impregnated for the past 6 years, and then you just kill her off. And it's like, it's another example of why do you hate the characters from the previous movie?
Yeah.
What was the point of going through 2 whole damn movies with Jamie if that was what was going to happen to her?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it sucks that they couldn't bring Danielle Harris back either, but in a way, like, what were they bringing her back to? You know, like, I don't know, 10 minutes of on-screen time?
The actor that they hired to play Jamie was probably like, what, 21, 22 years old?
Yeah, probably older. Yep.
You can't bring back Danielle Harris to have a baby and have her, it suggested that she was raped for 6 years. Like, you can't do that. You know?
I guess she wanted to come back, but they wouldn't pay her like what she wanted. Which was like measly, off. You know? Yeah, right. I agree. It wasn't a good role. It wasn't a good, send off again for a character in a different movie that was beloved throughout the series,
Right. You sit down to watch the next movie in the series and you're like, I need to know what happens to Jamie.
Yeah.
You give me 10 minutes. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I think this movie suffers from all the other movies because, the writer, Daniel Farrens, who was a huge Halloween fan, apparently he gave Mustafa Akkad like the Halloween Bible, which was everything from the other movies in there. Characters, storylines, family tree, everything. And Mustafa Akkad loved it, apparently, and he kept it on his desk. And then when they were looking for writers for Halloween 6, Daniel Farrens actually got a call, from Mustafa because he loved him so much.
Right.
And Daniel Farrens had developed a script that was tying in everything, because something we didn't talk about in Halloween 5 was the Man in Black storyline too.
Yeah.
That this director just threw in there,
Right.
So Daniel Farrens had to come in here for Halloween 6 and try to weave all these like loose ends and other things.
And the thorn tattoo or whatever. And
the thorn tattoo.
Because that was introduced in 5. Was that even introduced in 4?
It was introduced in 5, I believe. I don't think he has it in 4.
I thought he had it in 4. I could be wrong.
The beginning of Halloween 5 was supposed to have a witch doctor who saves Michael Myers from the river. And what he was supposed to do is he was supposed to tattoo the thorn on him and do all his witchcraft shit and invoke Thorn on Michael Myers. And that was supposed to lead into, whatever happened. But they cut all that out of the beginning of 5 and went with the fisherman who just discovered Michael Myers.
And didn't take him to a hospital. Totally concerned about him, want to save him. No hospital, though.
So Daniel Farrens had to weave all this together. And I don't believe, I've heard many interviews with him, the final product of either movie is not his script. Because the Weinsteins, Mustafa Akkad, Joe Chappelle, I believe, is the director of Halloween 6. He also was changing things to appease the Weinsteins and everything. So the final products you see in either movie are not his script of everything he had wrote.
Right.
He had many things that did happen.
I'm sure they didn't film stuff that would be needed for his script, so you couldn't put that movie together anyway, I would gather.
Well, he was saying too, like, he was on set a lot of times and he would have like his script and he'd be like, well, why are you leaving this out? Or why are you leaving this out? And they're like, oh, we don't have time to do that. Or, this doesn't make sense. Like, we're cutting this. And he's like, in front of me, I'm seeing my vision is just not my vision anymore.
Right.
And that's another problem. And I think you can feel it in this movie. There's too many hands in the cookie jar, so to speak.
It just feels like a series of almost unrelated events. Just stuff happening in order without any rhyme or reason. That could be a product of meddling, in a way. I I don't know. But I mean, is Daniel Farron the guy who came up with the Cult of Thorn idea in the first place? Because it's bad.
Yes. Yeah. And I would like to really read what his original script was, because I'm not defending him by any means,
Right.
because I don't know what his actual, movie would have been. So I can't fault him for what we see.
Right.
But, obviously ideas like Cult of Thorn, I mean, it was a little choppy. He did say in interviews too that the impregnation thing and stuff was not meant to look how it looked. Like, it was almost supposed to be symbolic. Like, there was no Michael having sex with Jamie thing.
Right.
Like, that was not what he had wrote. It was a symbol. Like, her baby was the last he was gonna kill, sort of deal.
Right.
But it turned into this weird incest story that, admittedly,
Incest with like a 13-year-old at that.
Exactly. You know what? To me, like, this movie, I don't like the plot overall. You could have actually just told me that there's new people living in Michael Myers' house and he's back. And the town of Haddonfield is now celebrating Halloween after they haven't celebrated Halloween anymore. And Michael Myers is back for destruction. And that would have been a better plot line to me. Like,
The original Halloween is very simple. And yeah, no, that works. I mean, quit trying to be more than other slashers. Because every
You're
time
right.
you try, except for a notable exception for me, but everybody else hated it. But every time you try and do something more, it just gets completely fucked up. And it's
Right.
like, I get that you're trying to do more than what the Jason franchise did, because Jason, other than Jason Goes to Hell, it's all Jason's back and now he's killing people. Maybe it's new characters. Maybe there's a holdover. I don't know.
right.
And that's all of those movies except for Jason Goes to Hell. Just do that. And you don't end up with weird incest plots if you just do that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think too, when you're having these intricate stories, there really needs to be one vision and one person
Yeah.
versus everything. And again, it's just, that's why this movie feels like a jumbled mess, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But, again, it is my favorite, and it's my favorite for a very important thing, because when Michael Myers is on screen, it's like really good, I think. Some of those shots where he's walking across the road and, you see the lightning, the scenes where Tim and his girlfriend have just had sex in the Myers house, and Kara's across the street looking through the telescope, and she sees them and calls, and you could see Michael Myers through the telescope kill her.
Yeah.
I thought that was great stuff. And then she looks
I
down,
totally agree,
and there's the kid,
Yeah, he's walking into the house. I totally
he's
agree.
walking in the house.
When I said, the slashing part is the best part of Halloween 5 and it's still uninteresting, that's what saves this movie from being worse than Halloween 5, is that the slasher parts are the best parts of this movie. And they actually are pretty good and pretty interesting. Unlike 5, which I didn't care. I didn't like any. I wasn't interested in anything.
I agree with that. I think a lot of slashing parts in 5 were pretty much straight ahead, just gags.
Scissors.
This one,
Garden hoe.
right?
Pitchfork.
Exactly.
Like, none of that.
This-
I've seen that before. Like, it's because the implements are different, I'm supposed to care. But in
This
6,
one had
stuff
something
actually
different.
happens,
Yeah,
So-
this one had different layers. Even the scene where Tim is looking in the mirror after he takes a shower, and it's foggy, and then he gets held and slit.
Yeah.
Really good shot.
Yeah.
Of that.
And the head explosion.
Something a little different.
Head explosion my favorite kill out of all three movies. I loved that so much. I laughed so hard.
And there's nothing like that in any Halloween movie, you know, besides the one where I guess Sartain gets stomped on and his head explodes in 2018 Halloween. I think.
Yeah, there's another head stomp in 2018. Or not in 2018. I'm sorry, in Ends. You'd already talked about it in 2018.
Yes, yep. I had forgotten about that. Yeah. But this one was done differently, and
it makes
it
no
was
sense,
visually stunning.
but it was great. It was great.
Yes.
I mean, I know it's
visually great.
It's just a ripoff of the scanner scene at the end of the day. But I love the scanner scene, so just do it again. Put it in more movies. More head explosions,
100%.
please. Although, actually, the boys had a
100%.
bunch of head explosions, so just keep Cronenberg.
I love the head explosion. Oh
keep
man!
the Cronenberg
In
alive.
this one, in Halloween 6, what's your favorite character, or who's your favorite character? Do you have one? Tommy Doyle.
Yeah, I was about to say Tommy Doyle. Like he's a weird, creepy little man, and I don't really like him, but that's kind of why I like him in a way.
Yep. Paul Rudd, I think, plays it good because
I love Paul
he does
Rudd.
play that anti kind of social, something happened to him as a kid, fucked up sort of deal, you know?
Although he finds a baby in a bus station bathroom and then just keeps it.
Calls it Steven.
Steven. You like that name? Yeah, I think it suits you.
Oh, yeah, that names it Steven. I know that if I found a baby in a bus station bathroom, I wouldn't keep him.
No.
Putting that out
Me
there.
neither.
Although
But he knew that was Michael's sacrifice, I guess? I don't know.
he can know that all he wants. He still needs to take it to the police. You just tell the police, this is Michael Myers' sacrifice. And they believe you or
What
they
did
don't.
you think of...
You know,
What did you think of Loomis in this movie?
he didn't do a lot. I thought. I don't know. I know. Didn't Donald Pleasence like have a stroke not too long before this movie?
See, I don't know before, but this was his last movie he ever did.
Right. I thought that he had some sort of health issue. And I think, and I thought that might explain why he was actually almost a little subdued in this movie. I kind of thought, in a way.
Yeah. Yep.
Like you had told me that we were gonna have to look up, do favorite lines, and I was like, I can't think of anything from 6 at all, and I started looking through the quotes on IMDb, and there really wasn't much there to latch onto for Loomis quote.
What is your favorite like Loomis quote out of all the Cult of Thorn? Do you have one?
Oh yeah, the one from 4 that I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Michael, it's been 10 years. Why now, Michael? Leave the poor people of Haddonfield alone. If you need another victim, take me. Yeah.
I do like that scene.
Yeah.
I think my favorite quote is it was 4, yeah, where he goes, he's trying to explain to Meeker why they should be on alert, and Michael Myers is back, and he's like, a village station in flames. That's what I've seen between here and Richmond.
6 bodies, a filling station in flames. Yeah. That was great.
And you know what I love too, going back to 4 though, it's like how Meeker fucking believes Loomis, like
he's just like, all right, yep. Well, I mean, Meeker was there for the first one, according to, I don't remember him actually being in the first one, but according to the plot of 4, Meeker was canonically was there when it happened the first time.
He remembers the events and stuff. Yeah.
So
100%. I mean, I think that's what all 3 of these movies to me is like Loomis.
yeah.
Because even in The Curse of Michael Myers, Loomis sits down with Kara's mother there in the kitchen, and he talks about Michael Myers. And even then, he's building Michael Myers up, and making him.
He's continuing what he did in the first one in 4. Yeah. And then he fucks it up in 5. But also Michael Myers in 4 got shot like 12 times. And Loomis still thinks that a net made out of chains and a 2x4 might actually help. Can you explain in 6, Paul Rudd, Tommy Doyle injects Michael Myers with all that green stuff? And I never got what was that?
Yeah, I don't know what it was either. It's like Reanimator stuff. I don't know.
I still haven't seen Reanimator. I have to watch it. So they never explained that because Tommy Doyle just starts injecting him with all this stuff. And I'm sitting there like, do you know what that is? Because if you don't, you could be injecting him with strength juice for all you know.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
why?
And now those were so many reshoots because they didn't like the ending of the producer's cut. The producer's cut basically had Tommy Doyle with ruins, which were stones, and he put them around Michael Myers. And Michael Myers' power just stops. Like, he stops. And there's this weird ending where Loomis leaves, and then Loomis comes back, and Michael Myers is laying flat on the ground with all the ruins around him, and Loomis takes Michael's mask off, and it's Dr. Wynn. And Dr. Wynn's like, "It's your game now, Dr. Loomis." And then you see in the background, the man in black is walking, but now we know it's Michael Myers. Like, he's switched places with Loomis. So that's the producer's cut.
So you're
and
telling me
that
you're telling me that the ending might have actually been worse if they hadn't done reshoots? Because that's what it sounds like to me.
I think so.
Because I think terrible.
So. Yeah, I agree. I don't like that ending. And
why is Wynn Michael Myers?
I don't get it. I don't know. And then Dr. Loomis looks at his wrist, and he has the Cult of Thorn.
I vaguely remember that from watching it in your basement when we were like,
and then he's like, and then he gives that like, nah, like the screaming.
And the scream is still at the end of the theatrical cut.
Yes.
Okay.
But so I don't think they had a plan when they did those reshoots. Like, he was just injecting him and then beating him with that fucking pipe.
Why does Michael Myers kill all the Cult of Thorn people?
So I like that scene actually, because to me, in this concept, right, the Cult of Thorn is almost controlling Michael Myers. You know what I mean?
Right.
And to me, he can't be controlled. So that's why I love that scene, because they all like think they have control over him, and they don't,
But what changes things? What happens to make that?
You're right.
Okay, never mind.
Michael Myers just gets pissed.
It's seemingly out of nowhere.
Sad enough. The rage, Nathan. The rage.
Oh my God.
Now listen, for me, this movie, two of my favorite characters are actually the assholes. John.
I hate that guy.
Who I think is a complete dick, and I love to hate him. I actively root for his head to explode.
Yeah, no, that's actually pretty good. Yeah.
I do love the scene where he's drunk and he comes in home and he's like, "Wow, where's my dinner?" And then the lights go out.
She actually left.
Oh. Yeah, she actually left. And then he goes, "Oh,
it must be the boogeyman. Here I come, boogeyman."
He goes, "Oh, it must be the boogeyman." Like, I love that.
Right.
Like, kind of playing around. And then I love Barry Sims.
Oh.
The douchebag DJ.
I was glad when he died.
I bet she wears crotchless panties and barks like a dog.
I bet she wears crotchless panties and barks like a dog.
When I was 16 or whatever, I remember being too embarrassed to be like, I don't understand really what that means, what he's trying to suggest. Now that I'm 38, I realize I still don't understand it, but now I'm not embarrassed to say that, like, he's just making up nonsense. Like the crotchless panties things, all right, but bark like a dog is what is he saying? She's into pet play? Because I'm not
into
kink
it all,
shaming
and
or anything, but
listen, I got a hot take. I think she does do that shit because, like, when she gets back to the house with Tim, she is all hot and bothered.
I am that, aren't I?
Fuck, man, Barry Sanders knows my kink.
oh, she's into pet play.
And Tim is just overwhelmed.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
he don't know what he's getting. It's best Michael took you out, brother. That girl was not for you. Oh, man. So I guess that's our retrospective on the Cult of Thorn. You know, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, and Halloween 6.
Right.
You know, it's good to kind of look back, I think, at these movies and wonder, you know, if these have gotten better over the years or if they're the same.
They might be worse.
Wow.
I don't know. I found myself disliking them more than I did when I was in high school. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to make a secret out of really hating Halloween Kills. And I saw Halloween Kills and I was like, that's the worst Halloween I've ever seen. Because I remember disliking 5 and 6. And I was like, there's no way that those are actually worse than Halloween Kills. I'm sorry to people who like Halloween Kills. I just don't. And no, I was wrong. 5 and 6 are far, far worse than Halloween Kills. Yeah, so they've gotten worse for me.
Wow.
Yeah. Halloween 4 probably stayed about the same.
I actually think that they're about the same for me. And I was thinking that they would kind of get better because I disagreed with a lot of David Gordon Green's trilogy. I loved the 2018 one.
Yeah, 2018 is really good.
Yeah, Kills definitely, like, oh my God, had me questioning, like, my
Kills.
even... Yeah, I was not a fan of
Did it
Kills.
make you question whether or not 2018 was actually good? Because for a second it did, and I rewatched 2018 and went, no, I was right. It is good.
I questioned whether, like, that made me like 2018 more, like, because I was like,
right,
I don't want this Kills. I want this 2018 one.
Right.
But, you know, I will say with Ends,
I love Ends.
I like Ends. I like Ends a lot. I do. I just don't like where it was in the trilogy, you know.
I think if
some
you
of the
just
choices they made.
if you just get rid of Halloween Kills, just pretend it did not happen at all, you fix so many problems with Ends. Because
You're probably right.
Because 2018 ends with Michael Myers in the house that's burning down. Great. They think Michael Myers is dead. So you get rid of that problem where they're just palling around with each other in the same fucking town 4 years later. And they know that Michael Myers is alive because they don't know that if Kills doesn't exist. And then, Michael Myers is weakened because of the fire.
Right.
And Kills is what turned Michael Myers into a fucking superhero. Get rid of that, and you don't have that complaint about Ends anymore. Boom.
That is
Fix
true.
Halloween Ends by pretending Kills doesn't exist. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
I agree to that. Maybe now when I watch them,
Just skip Kills.
I'll just skip Ends. I mean Kills.
Yeah.
And go to Ends.
Yeah. And, just pretend Karen died off screen at some point like they did to Laurie Strode in 4.
Right.
It'll be fine.
She had a car accident.
Right. She died in a car accident. After all that, everything she went through in her house and in that hospital, it's a car accident that takes her out. Because we respect
it.
our characters.
And it was Billy that ran her over.
It was Billy that ran her over.
Well, that was fun to look back, I think, because it's always good to, I think, go back and look at some of these kind of older movies, especially when there's newer versions in the franchise and see how they've aged, to you. But I like that we kind of actually have different opinions and mine more or less stayed the same, and yours went down.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like I came off like a dick because I dislike these movies so much, but
No, listen, this is your opinion,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
That's all it
Yeah.
is. All right, well, before we get out of here, we're going to do our content consumed segment. This week, I actually watched a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Rio Bravo with Logan, because Logan was interested in seeing some John Wayne movies.
Okay.
So we watched one of my favorite John Wayne movies, Rio Bravo, with Dean Martin and Ricky Nelson.
Right.
It's a classic for like a cowboy type of movie, but
Right.
I like it. And also, we watch, I don't know if you've heard of this show Wipeout. Have you heard of Wipeout?
I've heard
at
of
all?
Wipeout. It's the Japanese show, right? With the
So the one we watch is the English version,
but it's
like
it's a
Total
game
Wipeout.
show where people do
like go through
obstacle
obstacles.
courses. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Dude, it is great. I recommend Total Wipeout, the English version where, dude, the host he's like, you know, an asshole, and I love it.
Right.
He just makes fun of people, you know, falling on their ass.
Right,
It's amazing.
right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a show we would have loved in high school,
Oh,
I'm
for
telling
sure.
you.
For sure. Every now I don't have cable anymore, but when I did, every now and then I'd stop on that for a minute, even now, because it's good, stupid, immature fun. You know,
100%.
I like that show. Yeah, I'm not,
Right up our
Yeah.
alley.
exactly. Exactly.
All right, what do you have for your content consumed?
Well, this past week my sister's kids came over, which means children's
Nice.
movie. So we watched Kiki's Delivery Service, which is
I've not seen
you've
that.
never seen that?
Nope.
It's great. HBO Max has a whole bunch of Studio Ghibli stuff, and Studio Ghibli is like the Japanese Disney, basically.
Oh, okay.
And actually, Disney is the one who localized all these Studio Ghibli movies. So because it's Disney doing the dubs are actually really good and really well acted. So you get like Liam Neeson doing characters and stuff like that.
That's cool.
But yeah, Kiki's Delivery Service is a great, relaxing, little fun movie about a little witch who starts a delivery business at the age of 13. And it's cute. And last night I needed a palate cleanser from all of the horror.
The Halloween.
Oh, not just Halloween. When Evil Lurks too. We've been watching a lot of stuff
yeah.
that's like really not fun and is actively trying to upset you. So I needed a little palate cleanser. Just take a break from that. So I watched a movie called that came out in 2022 called Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes,
Which was
yep.
huge in 2022 and won all those Oscars. And I didn't see it till last night. And
How'd you like it?
holy crap, I love that fucking movie.
Yeah. Logan saw it. He loves it.
It's
It's
so
like one of his favorite
good.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming a bit though. The amount of it's just so fast. It's as fast as John Wick, which is always
Yeah.
John Wick is always my go-to movie for talking about how fast something is. But it literally is, like with the camera cuts and but the action is amazing. It's got a really nice little plot about family. It's very feel good while also being it's outrageously funny. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a feel good movie to just cleanse my spirit a little bit from everything we've been watching over the past month or so. Yeah, it's great. I loved it.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it?
Yep.
Anything else? Cool.
I want to say they're talking about how they pitched a part 2 to Halloween 4. Right?
Yeah.
The only way I will approve of that is if Michael Myers is dead and Jamie is the new Michael Myers. Have the balls to do it. Do another Halloween movie without Michael Myers, or don't do it at all.
I agree that would have been cool. I think they should have originally done it.
Mm-hmm.
But what Dwight Little said is his pitch was, I don't know the whole story, but he was at least going to bring Rachel and Jamie back for part 2.
Okay.
So I don't know where he would have taken it. You know, he hasn't given those clues out. Maybe, you know, maybe with streaming too, eventually, I don't think this would ever happen, but maybe down the line as like a fan service streaming thing, they would do it. You know, you never know.
Yeah.
What they would, approve, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I just think that's what you should do and let that plot line rest in peace. Otherwise, just move on.
Listen,
but
Michael
if you take
Myers
that
is
big
a
risk,
cash
you take
cow.
that big swing, I'll at least give it a chance. If not, I'm not interested.
All right.
You know?
All right.
So, just wanted to
Well,
get out there before we ended the episode.
I gotcha, and I agree. I think it would have been cool, and would be cool if they did go the route of Jamie. I think that would be very interesting. I gotta tell you, though, it's not gonna happen.
No, I know. You could do something interesting with the movies. You could.
Not anymore. Well, listen, if you want a palate cleanser, The Mouths of Madness has a new episode up called My Bloody Valentine, episode 6, where we review the 1981 classic. And coming soon, we're going to be doing Reanimator, which is Bear Claw's pick. So look for that coming up. But until then, back to the padded room with you. We'll see you soon.
You gonna wave this time?
Dude, why did that do that?
I don't know.